Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 49 of Film Banter. Thank you for joining us. As always, we have some good stuff for you this evening. So we're going to start with a film called The Big Sick. We're going to cover some things on Netflix as well tonight, some classics, and then we're going to do, well, actually probably a lot sooner, we're going to do It, the big film of the weekend. Whoa! Look who this guy is. Look who came to join me this evening.
Thank you. It's so wonderful to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Taking time out of my busy schedule.
Yeah, well, I'll say. Thank
yes,
you.
But it's always good. Thank you, Mr. Trump, for shaking my hand like that.
You're very welcome, sir.
Always a pleasure.
It's my pleasure as well.
Very
Nice to
good.
meet you.
So we're going to be doing just
That's true.
as usual.
But you know what? That seems to resonate with people, so I'm fine with that.
You know, I think
You guys
it's a
like shit?
wonderful
We're doing
thing.
shit.
I think it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
we
I
do
enjoy
what we
it.
have to do.
I agree, my
We're
friend.
just simple folk. We're simple men.
Speak for yourself.
Trying to review film, trying to banter about film.
That's what we're going to
That's
do
what
here.
we do, folks. So here we are, once again, confined in this little room, after being confined in a big room, watching a big screen with just a few people
That
in
is
the
true.
afternoon shows. And here we are, for your pleasure. So, let us begin the begin.
Yes, we're
I'm
going to do...
start with the big...
Please don't. That's my shoes.
That's right, folks. The Big Sick.
The Big
Let
Sick,
me talk
indeed.
about this film, if I might.
Please
I've
do,
got
sir.
to say, you know, this is Kumar or Kumel or...
His name, I have it here.
Kormel.
Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah.
Who you would know from HBO's Silicon Valley.
Correct.
He's a
very
stand-up
funny
comic.
man.
He's
I
very
think he
talented.
does a few stand-up bits also.
What's that?
I think he does a stand-up bit or so.
No, that's how he started as a stand-up comic.
He is
yeah.
a very funny lad.
He's
And,
great.
I have to say, folks, we're going to start with The Big Sick.
Yes.
If you have not seen this film, it shall be coming to your pay-per-view and your network on demand, etc.
Yeah, I think it's still in a couple theaters here
I'll
and there.
tell you this, though. I absolutely adored this
What's
film.
not to love?
I loved it.
It's a phenomenal movie.
It is so rare that a film takes its time.
Mm-hmm.
This is a movie that takes its time. And yes, it takes our time too. Why? Because it's a 2-hour film.
Mm-hmm.
This type of film would normally be an hour and 30, an hour and 37, perhaps an hour and 41 minutes,
Yes.
perhaps an hour and 42 minutes.
There's a lot
Maybe
of
an
perhaps
hour
there.
and 44 minutes.
Hour and
It
50.
could also be an hour and 29 minutes. But this film is 2 hours long. I had to endure extra hours, extra minutes of my life to watch it. And yet, when it was over, I didn't want it to end.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
stayed in that little strange world that it had created for me, there in that blissful, dry, comic essence of a world where Ray Romano and Holly Hunter and Kumail
Nanjiani.
came in and did their thing, and this is just a beautiful, heartbreaking film.
And don't forget
love
Zoe
it.
Kazan is the love interest.
Yes, she is indeed. She's wonderful. She's the granddaughter of
is.
Elia Kazan.
Why don't you give them a quick synopsis of the storyline so they know
Oh,
what the movie's about?
Oh, it's just the same old shit.
I
Boy
wouldn't
meets
say that.
girl, then boy loses girl to illness, and then, as we all know. Yes, this film is basically about the meeting. This is a true story. Every moment of it, we're supposed to believe
It is
in
a true,
fact
based on a true story.
It's
Yes.
based on a true story. Kumar plays himself. Ray Romano plays the father of the girl who he's in love with. She's a very zany little girl. I liked her very
Big
much.
expressive eyes, big
Then he
eyes.
realized
Yeah.
she had a little bit of a... Oh, I'm trying to think of who she reminds me of. But there was a little bit of a zany... Maybe one of the girls on one of the girls on The Office or something. There was just something about her I found most endearing and enchanting. She's a wonder.
She's
I
good.
thought she was
She's
very
been in
good.
many things.
Has she?
Oh yeah,
Oh, what else has she been
Zoe
in?
Kazan. Yeah, I mean, I know that she was in. Let's see here. She was in Revolutionary Road with Leonardo DiCaprio
Oh,
and
that's
Kate
a long time
Winslet.
ago.
Yeah, but she's been in a lot of other things since. I can't remember at the moment, but I know I've seen her
She's
in
just a young lass.
quite a few things.
She's a cute little ass, if I may say.
Ba 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 ba. Yes.
Ba-dum-bum.
I'll look
Hey,
up
where's
some stuff while
where's
you
my
continue.
ba-dum-bum?
I don't know. You were supposed to get it
Seems
set
to
up.
have
Disappeared.
seems to have lost.
It's okay.
Is it?
Continue with your
I'm just
review.
upset though.
It's
Really
okay.
sad now. But all right. This is just a wonderful little endearing film. It takes its time. It's very slow in building, and yet the dry comic essence of this film is so wondrous. I found myself just laughing out loud when there was nothing really to laugh about. It was just great.
It's a charming film.
It really is it's a great charmer. It is about the meeting of people and how people grow to endear to each other in the light of an enemy, as their entire country has grown together in light of a horrifying horror who exists in a big house there in Washington.
I wonder who it could be.
I don't know who it could be. Do you have any idea?
I have ideas. A
Well,
slight
if you
idea of
have
who it
an
might be.
idea, I suppose that
I wish I
it might be
didn't.
dangerous,
Yeah.
just as is he.
Yes.
So, but I do love this film. It's a wonderful film. Wait, let me fix my hair.
You're one tuft.
Yes. Oh, I wish I had some mousse with me today. It's always so nice
Yeah.
if I had little mousse. Oh,
Well, you
wait,
should have been prepared.
I've got something on my finger here. Ow! But, I thought I loved this film. I know
Me
you
too.
saw it and you gave it a wonderful review.
I enjoyed it a lot. It was
And I
wonderful.
believe one of your trademark comments was that it's wonderful for the whole family to see.
I don't think I said that about this movie.
I think you did.
I don't think I did.
It's wonderful for the whole family.
Well, I think that's good to touch on once in a while.
Yes.
You know, people want to take their kids to films that aren't necessarily just kids' films. Although this movie is not for kids, really, because it's
No.
got a lot of language in it.
It's got a lot of language. It's got
but, you know,
the
it's-
essence of sexual.
I think, though, it's a
ambiguity.
film that almost anybody can relate to. I think almost anybody can enjoy this film. I don't think it's tailored towards a certain demographic at all.
Well, that's very
It's-
swift of you.
It's it's a very it's a
Taylor
film that has
Swift.
very wide appeal.
Yes, it does. It's
So,
very sweet. It's very nice.
glad you saw it.
I loved it. It made me cry because he says something to his girl. You know, at one point, if you want to go, you can go. Now, my wondrous wife, who spent many thousands, I kid you not, thousands of hours in hospitals. I said that to her once because I knew that she may not make it. So it brought great tears to mine eyes. You may notice the stains that have not gone away. Of course, I have to
sorry
give
to
a
hear
little
that,
bit to Paul Stanley from Kiss for
I'm not a big fan of
influencing-
that band at all.
Pardon me?
I don't like Kiss.
You little shit! Don't say that.
I hate them, actually. I don't like that music.
Don't you like those three chords they play?
Yeah, exactly.
I love those three chords.
Not interested in it. I don't
I think
like.
they're very entertaining.
I don't like the visuals. I don't really
You
like
don't like
anything
the
about.
makeup and the Japanese
I really don't like anything about Kiss.
essence of them.
I can respect their very good business sense. They're very good marketers of their brand. I mean, they even have a Kiss coffin you can buy.
Yes, I do know that.
But
It's quite expensive too.
yeah, but they have Kiss cruises you can go on. I mean,
Do they?
yeah, I know people that have gone on a Kiss cruise, but it's not my cup of tea at all.
But they can kiss my ass
Indeed.
because that band sucks.
I'm
We
not a
all
fan.
know it.
Not a fan.
All I said was, had you not interrupted my wonderful
Soliloquy.
was
Yes.
that I had borrowed some of the star eyes
Yes, you
from
did.
Mr. Paul Stanley from
I understand.
Kiss. All right, you get it, bozo? All right, so there we go.
We
so
call
we're
him
done
Bozo.
with the Big Sick. We're done with the Big Sick. I love this film. I
Very happy.
want all of you to
Two big
see it.
yeses for the Big
Two
Sick.
big yeses. It's just a beautiful,
It's a wonderful
little
film.
And Ray Romano has turned into a wondrous actor.
Does a good job in this
You
film.
know, I saw him in Vinyl, which was an HBO.
You know, it's a
television
show that it's a shame it got canceled.
with Bobby Cannavale.
Calamari?
Carnivale.
No, Cannavale.
Yeah, he's banging little Rose Byrne right now. I love Rose.
They have a kid.
They got a kid now.
They have a
yeah,
child.
They're a wonderful couple. They're beautiful together.
I don't think they're married yet, though.
I think you might be right. Yeah, I don't think they are.
Whatever.
But, you know, It's all right.
Whatever
so,
floats
Big
your boat.
Sick, yes. Nice little movie. I liked it a lot.
It's very good.
Okay.
So we're going to move on.
We'll move on if you like.
I'm a little late to the party in this movie, but I watched Allied, which is Robert Zemeckis'
Well,
film.
you're so late to the party,
Oh, I'm
mister.
sorry.
That boat sailed on
It
your
did.
kiss cruise.
I know it did.
That boat is gone.
Oh, you can stop that voice now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So Allied, yes, you can watch this movie online. It's on Amazon. I don't think it's on HBO Go yet, and it's definitely not on Netflix, but you can definitely find it.
Yeah, very
Most likely get your Redbox. But yeah, it stars...
Redbox?
Yes. You know what that is?
No.
Well, you'll have to look it up later.
Is that something to do with Jessica Chastain?
Bum, bum,
No, I love her.
Oh, I know you do.
It's just the same.
That was well
old
played, I
shit.
guess. That was a decent reference. I'll give you that one.
Well, thank you very much.
So yes, Allied is a film with Brad Pitt and the wonderful, beautiful
beautiful
Marion
Cotillard.
Cotillard,
She's lovely.
French actress who's been in
makes
many
me cry.
films. She's wonderful.
She makes my croissant stand on it.
She does. She's another actress with very expressive eyes.
She is a very wonderful woman.
She's wonderful. She's excellent. And
I believe she was reviewed last week in the new updated 2015 version of Macbeth.
correct.
Oh, you don't have some mousse on
Correct.
you, do you,
Yes,
sir?
I don't. Why don't you?
Because your beard looks so well coiffed.
Why don't you go into the restroom, produce your homemade mousse, and put it on your hair?
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's disgusting. Does it taste good? What's it taste like?
I don't know, but when I was a teenager, I used to like to do that all the time.
I'm sure you
I'd be
did.
I'd be sitting on a bench, waiting for someone to come over and talk to me. And
Well,
I'd just start.
I think if you look like that, I know why
I'd
nobody
start
ever
doing
joined
this
you on
kind
that
of a
bench.
thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just do this.
You're frightening.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
My
Okay.
towel goes off to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. So, to
So
continue.
do the film, if you would.
So, Allied, yes. So, this came out in theaters last November, but it's on video now. So, this is Robert Zemeckis' film. Like I said, it takes place during World War II. The brief premise is Brad Pitt is a soldier that is sent to
He's a spy.
spy soldier. You know what I mean? Okay, fine. He's a spy. He's a spy, but he's working with the British on a mission. He's sent to Africa, to the Casablanca, to meet up with a French spy as well, played by Marion Cotillard, and they have to assassinate a dignitary from the Germans, from the Nazis. And they fall in love, and then they get married. And I'm not giving it away by telling you that because that's right away. And then they are trying to settle down and kind of get on with their life while he is still a spy. They go back to England, so they're back there. They're married. They're trying to live a life, and so they have a child. And so this film then again shifts, and it becomes about this story of their marriage, but his superiors are telling him that she may actually be indeed a spy for the Nazis.
Yes.
That's disgusting. So I found this film to be very, very engaging, very interesting. I really enjoyed it. It's not a action film, so to speak. It's got action in it.
No, there's
but,
an underlying drama.
But it's a drama more than anything.
pulls you
It's
back in.
you could say espionage thriller, I guess.
Yes,
but it's touted in the trailers as almost like it's an action film, but it's really not.
No, it's really not.
But there is some really good moments. I thought it was beautiful to look at. I thought Zemeckis staged
stunning
a
looking
gorgeous
piece of
film.
cinematography.
Stunning is a great word. It's just
Stunning bit of
picturesque. Everything is a postcard to look at. It's
Yes,
gorgeous.
it is. It's a wonderful
He did a
film.
great job at crafting this film. It's very
He's a
dramatic
great
at times.
crafter of
I
film.
love Zemeckis' films, and
He's always different.
he always
He's
challenges
always
himself.
unique.
I believe his film right before this was The Walk with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, which I liked a
God.
lot.
Oh, God.
About the French guy that
Talk
walked
about the
across
big sick.
the world about the World Trade Center.
I puked many times.
I know.
during
I heard about
film.
that.
It was
It's not for
horrifying.
everybody, but I thought that film was great.
Forgive me as I scratch my nose.
But this Allied, I thought was a very, very well acted
like that.
film.
Yes.
I really was really into it. I found myself really enjoying it. And I thought,
we're very proud.
yeah, I like that. And there's some good supporting performances. Everybody in the film is very good, very well cast.
Yes.
You really get a sense for the time period. And I recommend it. So I'm saying big yes to the Allied. I think you liked it, right?
I liked it very, very much.
Yeah, it's a good
I
film.
thought it was wonderful.
I enjoyed
it kind of is one of those films that kind of amplifies its twists.
It does.
There are many twists and turns.
There's a couple.
that kind of
Yeah.
go into a. Oh,
Yeah.
everybody.
I love that scene where he
Vote.
goes to talk to that soldier who's been injured and he's in a wheelchair and he's got a missing eye and he tries to have a conversation with this guy and this very angry bitter guy. Then I believe that was the name of the actor now is escaping me, but that was Matthew Good, who was
Matthew
more.
Good.
That's his name. Yeah, he was prominent because he was the villain in the Watchmen film, the first Watchmen, well, the only Watchmen.
I see. Yeah.
Yes. Must you?
Yeah.
Thank you. But anyway, moving on. Allied was
To
great.
your health, everyone.
Exactly. We both really enjoyed Allied.
We
I
did.
think it's time to discuss
You mean it?
a film that's close to your heart, I imagine.
You know, I have to say that it is.
Yes.
I have
Would
to
you,
say that it
would you
is.
care to give a premise?
Well, would you like to review it?
I'd love to.
I'd like to review it too.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody
would you like
knows
to
the
review?
storyline, right? Should we describe the storyline? You want to?
Well, you know, I think it's just Stranger Things Part 2, isn't it?
In a way.
You know, it really is. It kind of incorporates, you know, I say
Child
to myself,
disappears, yeah.
I say to myself, what a wonderful world. But you know, this movie is about a bunch of kids. Kind of stars in that Stephen King, who does a very fine job with young children.
He does
as
a great
did
job
in
at doing
Stand
that.
By
Yes,
Me,
he does.
etc., etc. I thought this film was very well realized.
Mm-hmm.
I was most impressed with the visuals.
Yes.
It's a very visual film.
Very.
My only complaint with the film, if I may say, oh, forgive me, just for a moment. I just love doing this for just a bit. But my one complaint with the film, at certain particular times, I do note. Now, with horror films, ladies and gentlemen, may I please be frank with you for a moment?
Please do.
Strangers in the night, two lonely people. No, not
That's the
that
wrong Frank.
Not that Frank. I'm sorry. But, you know, one thing about horror films is that you have to have a build, a payoff, a build, a payoff. There are certain times within this film, more towards the end, and I must say it is towards the end.
Yes.
We are so slammed with
that.
constant visuals
I know.
that the horror now takes a bit of a dive. It just goes into plot development, and we do see our young children enacting together very brilliantly, I must say. I did notice that the F word was most consistently used.
Oh,
by
yeah,
these young
it's an
children.
R-rated film all the way.
Oh, I did notice R-rated.
Oh, yes, it is.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, that is.
Because the rule is you cannot use the F word more than once
More
in
than
a
once
PG-13 film.
Ah, yes, these young children.
Now, this movie is very, very
Look,
horrifying.
someone's calling you.
Oh, I can't answer the phone right now.
Well, who is that?
It's a friend of mine that I used to work with.
Well, tell him to blow it out his ass.
I left him a voicemail. He knows that he should not be calling me during the show.
Well, he doesn't know, obviously.
He probably didn't listen to the
No, he
voicemail.
probably didn't.
Continue your review.
All right, so the film is basically about these small children in the town of Derry.
Maine.
Which is up in Maine. Is
Yes.
there such a town?
No, I doubt it.
I doubt it too. I
doubt
hope
it.
not.
It's
Otherwise, they'd have a lot to live down.
it's
Mr.
small
King.
town America in Maine,
Jump
basically.
and double jump, Mr. King. But it's true.
Yes.
These young children and people. I do like we go into a bit of the history of the town.
I like
where
that
we see
too.
that there are massacres that have taken place.
We
every
learned that through one of the
27
kids
years,
who's
going
very-
back about a century or so.
Yes.
A lot of people have been destroyed, decimated, completely ravaged by the sin and debauchery of a specific character named as Pennywise.
The clown, the evil clown.
Yes,
Yes.
indeed. But, you know, I think he's really a nice guy at heart.
I'm
I
sure.
think he really has a kind soul.
He just has a few emotional
I
problems, I
think he has
guess.
some problems, yes. I think, oh, forgive me. Oh, I'm so sorry. You know, those boogers won't pick themselves, you know.
No, that's true. I'm glad you're so attentive to them.
But, you know, I like the way this film progressed.
Mm-hmm.
We had the little fat boy, we had the little black boy, we had the little girl, little Amy Adams Jr.
Yeah, her name is Sophie Lillis.
Sophie's wondrous.
She's very good.
I thought she was quite good, but all the acting by the children
They're all
was
excellent.
quite extraordinary.
They're all very good.
We really don't have any famous adults. do
No, famous adults, no, we don't.
we really don't.
Not
which
even, I mean,
liked.
We
I
have
like that.
we have Bill Skarsgård who plays Pennywise.
Nobody even knows who the hell he is.
Well, he's an up and comer, but he's of I don't want to say acting royalty,
I'm
but
an up and comer. No one knows me.
his brother is Alexander
Peter
Skarsgård.
Sarsgaard.
No, not Peter Sarsgaard. Peter Sarsgaard is no relation to the Skarsgård.
Oh, he isn't?
He's Sarsgaard. They are Skarsgård with a
Well,
K.
he's a Gyllenhaal
Well, no,
married
Peter
person.
Sarsgaard is
Married
married
to
to. He's
Maggie-
an American actor. He's a
Maggie
Maggie
Gyllenhaal.
Gyllenhaal. This is
So Alexander, who was in The Legend
True
of
Blood.
Tarzan, that tremendously
that is
catchy-
this guy's brother.
Yes. Oh, I see.
Skarsgård, Alexander,
Nice.
and their father is Stellan Skarsgård.
Do you like my hair?
I don't.
You don't
I
like
really don't like
I
it.
think it's just lovely.
I don't appreciate it.
And let me wrap it around
I think
my
you should
nose.
cut it off.
Oh, look, my nose. Now I can't talk properly.
Anyway, I agree with you, though. I thought it was very well done. It was
Beautifully
hell of a
done.
lot more intense than the miniseries, which I liked when I watched as a
The
kid.
miniseries.
I
Throw
thought
that
Tim
away.
Curry was great in
Flush
that,
it, whoosh.
obviously.
I thought so too.
But
I
this
like
was
Mr.
pure
Tim Curry.
horror at times. Some of those scares are really creepy. And
It was quite
this
creepy.
outfit and this performance by Bill as Pennywise is
wonderful.
just disgusting. Really
But I think
horrifying.
it's more of a CGI kind of performance, if I may
I
say.
don't think so. A lot of
I mean, it
practical
was all
makeup.
mask. I mean, who's going to wear a mask and trying to emanate a character through it?
I know. Who's going to do
That
that?
went right over his little head.
But he was working on that character for a long time. From
But
what
you
I
know,
was
he's
reading.
very, very good as the
He's
character,
good.
I must say. But
I don't remember the boy getting his arm bit off in the beginning in the miniseries. I don't remember being that
well, that was
graphic.
probably a little bit more so
But
in
he
doing
sanitized.
with the book itself.
But here, yeah, it was really
It
bloody.
was rather brutal.
Yeah, it was a
Little
cool
Georgie
scene.
Porgy pudding and pie.
I have one complaint in the film, and it's just that I thought it was too long.
It was
They
a bit
could have
long.
cut 20 minutes easy out of this movie.
Well, you know, the film was supposedly 2 hours and 15 minutes long, and
It's
it
long.
only really ran till about 2 hours, and then it kind of just went straight to credits, you know?
I don't know about the running time, but it felt long. I know it was over 2 hours.
Okay, well, that's what she said to me. She
But
said
I'm
it
fine.
felt a little long,
Yeah.
and, you know, she was a little concerned about the girth and the depth.
Was she?
So, obviously, I have to make amends.
Yeah, you
and I
love
have to
touting.
apologize.
You love touting your assets.
Oh, yes, indeed. Do you like my hair?
Everybody asked me that.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
What was my answer last
I
time?
think your answer was, stick it up your ass,
Pretty much.
bozo! But anyway, listen, I don't want to scare anyone out there. If any of you are afraid or you've got other things to do, then please do them.
I really don't think
Go
you're
on,
that
Be
scary.
gone with you. Look at our audience tonight, my son.
Yes.
Oh, heavens. Oh, God, we're so ingratiated that you
Well,
hate
you know,
us so.
it's back to school
Don't
night.
you
What are you
love
gonna
that
do?
they hate us so?
They're back to school night, buddy.
They've got other things to do, man.
It's okay.
That's right, buddy. Okay, man. Oh, right.
So, any more thoughts on it?
Oh, I don't know.
Do you have a favorite
Let me
scene?
think about it for a moment. Yes, I think it's, I liked it very much.
I thought that
mean, it wasn't
leper
a great film. I have to agree
was
with you. It's a little
horrifying.
too long for me. Do I want to go back and watch all this rubbish again?
No.
Probably not.
Honestly, I was saying to myself when I was watching it, I'll never watch this again.
I'll probably buy
one-time
the
view.
Blu-ray when it comes out. and
No, what
I'll
are you
sit
kidding?
there and
You'll buy the
perpetuate
4K
myself.
version after that, too.
Well, I'll probably, I'll probably go and have my way with myself when I get it, because Pennywise did turn me on a little, if you know what I mean. But what?
Interesting.
But, well, fellow clowns, we have a tendency to do that to each
Yes.
other. But all in all, it was a well-made film. It did magnificently in the box office.
It did very well. People were surprised at how well it did.
$123 million. This film did $15 million on Thursday night.
It was a big one.
Before the Friday.
People were very excited for this movie.
People were very excited. And
Well, you know why, too? It's the first
the
real
underground
big...
buzz was buzzing.
It was, and it's probably the most prominent and anticipated Stephen King film adaptation.
In a long time.
It is. Even
Maybe
more so than The
since
Dark
Harry-
Tower, because The Dark Tower had a lot of...
Screw the Dark Tower.
I agree. Had a lot of bad press leading up
That
to it.
piece of garbage.
Fans weren't happy with the casting. This film had a lot of positive buzz because that first trailer, blew the doors off of all previous record holders for trailer releases. So this film was definitely anticipated like crazy. So
Absolutely.
and it lived up to it. Honestly, it lived up to the hype. It was a very good film. Just needed a little more editing, I thought.
I must point out to you people out there, my friends, my dear cohorts, you illustrious people who gather around your silly little monitors on a weekly basis to witness this horror that is Film Banter on Big Chat, no less. Hopefully some of you are seeing the produced show over on YouTube and you're getting the whole gist.
Yeah, as always, please watch this show on YouTube, guys. Please.
You're getting it. But
It's
I
so
must
much
say
better.
this. I must say this about
I keep
this.
telling everybody that.
I must say this about it, and that is the fact
I'm
that I
listening.
think that the film is a little more accepted, perhaps, because of the brilliance that is Stranger Things.
I definitely agree that
Stranger
there is a
Things,
connection.
I almost felt as though this could have been a nice sequel. They just had a whole feeling. The very prominence of this film almost carried a very similar
Yes.
track
Yes.
that Stranger Things kept right until the
No,
very
I agree
end.
with you there. That's a really good comparison.
Yes, it is.
You could
indeed.
also argue that maybe Stranger Things borrowed the narrative from the novel, which came a lot earlier. Put that tongue back in. Didn't your mother ever tell you to keep your tongue in your mouth when you're giving reviews of movies?
No, this is just for the ladies.
Oh. I'm sure that's
terribly
really,
sorry.
really going to make them take a number and get in line.
Well, there might be a deli line over there. If you'd like to go over and check it out, please do. But, that's my feeling about it. I think
I
the
agree.
Stranger Thing almost paved the way for the
did.
acceptance of this kind of a film.
I can't find
It basically endears the endearing momentum of personalities amongst our young children and
Yeah.
how they interact to defeat a prominent beast in their lives.
Yes.
And I like this very much. I also like the sub-demon played by a young boy who is a very horrifying, I think his name is Henry.
Oh, yeah.
Little H
He's
boy.
like the bully.
He's the bully.
Yeah,
but he's an
that
absconding
very-
rascal of all sorts.
Very good actor. Plays
he
a
was brilliant.
hateful, evil character.
Hateful little bastard.
I wanted to kick him in the face.
I wanted to break his face
He
in.
sucked. Yeah.
But I
That
was
scene
most
where
impressed
he
with him.
pulls out the knife and carves something, I was
that
like,
was
I
horrifying.
can't believe he did that.
I liked even the fact that even his friends were horrified.
They didn't like him at all.
And then he's in target practice. He puts a little cat up,
Yeah, what a
up on the thing. I'm thinking,
sociopath
oh my God, they're
galore.
not going to show this poor little cat being emaciated.
I had to look
Bullet.
something up that I read in the trivia yesterday on this film that I wanted to share. So do you know who was the other actor that was basically in the running to play Pennywise along with Bill Skarsgård?
I do not know.
Bill Skarsgård, I should say. It was Hugo Weaving. And the reason he
That
didn't...
Hugo would have been good.
Yeah, he didn't get the role because they said that he could do great menacing stuff, but he didn't bring the playfulness to the character that they wanted, which Bill Skarsgård
Well, that's all
provided.
direction, my son.
Yeah, I know, but they wanted a combo of both, and I guess he wasn't delivering that, according to the
If
trivia
only they had
on
asked me,
IMDb.
I would have been happy to do the role for them. And
Really?
that would have been perfect, if I may say.
I think he would have been a little too effeminate
Well, I don't think so.
think
because I can be very masculine when I want to be.
when you
And I
want
can
to
be
be.
terrifying also.
Okay.
But that's just the varied incessant of my own succubus personality.
I agree.
So very well.
So,
let us
shall we move on?
We did like it.
We
It's
did.
a very nice little film. Possibly didn't like it as much as the Wondrous World did, but I still find it most attractive, and I found it worth
No,
watching.
I
absolutely.
was very much into it. I'm looking forward to the sequel, which I'm sure they're going to do. And
Of course they are. This was chapter 1.
well, I'm just saying that for people that might have not seen
Oh,
the film.
yes.
But
very
the
well.
sequel will pick up with the adults, so that would be kind of cool.
Oh, that would be nice.
So anyway, so we're gonna move on. We're gonna do a film called First Kill, which you saw. I didn't get a chance to see
that
this.
film.
Hayden
Yeah.
Christensen, Bruce Willis.
Yes, Hayden
Direct-to-video
Christensen
galore,
was in
right?
it, direct from his Darth Vader, youthful. Actually, he was in Jumper.
He's
not
been in a lot
too
of stuff.
long
He's
ago.
been
A lot of
he's
stuff, and I
been
find him a good
lingering
little
in
actor.
direct-to-video hell for a while.
Unfortunately, that is the nature of his beast. He was in some film, though, I remember. He was in an office running around, and he was doing something with a big, giant water thing, where he put his little cup under the water.
Oh, I
What was
think
that? It's
I
an
think
Office movie.
no, that's a good movie. I think you're thinking of Breach with Chris
see.
Cooper, right?
Oh,
Is that him?
That was a great
I
film.
like that film.
I love that.
It's
but it
about the
wasn't just
guy.
Breach, it was also with Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
No, he wasn't in that. You're thinking of Snowden. That was Snowden.
No.
I don't think Joseph Gordon-Levitt was in Breach.
I'm almost sure.
I'm pretty
but
sure it was
unless I
Chris
got the
Cooper and
title
Hayden
wrong.
Christensen. But this was about the guy that was the biggest government leaker to the Russians.
No,
True
no,
story.
I know Snowden. No.
No, I'm talking about Breach. Oh, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. That's Ryan Felipe. I apologize. That was Ryan.
Incorrect.
I get them confused sometimes in my memory.
Oh, you are confusing.
Hang on. Let's
sometimes.
look him up. Hayden Christensen.
No question. Well, let me talk about First Kill.
Go ahead.
Hayden Christensen is a father. He's away very often. He comes home to meet his little son. He wants to bond with his son because he's being bullied in school. So he takes him out on the pathway into the forest there, and they see suddenly a sheriff, not a sheriff, but we see an officer of the law aiming a gun at another man over a robbery that has gone wrong. So now we have a little kind of a three-way, a little Mexican standoff, if you will.
Oh, if I may interrupt, you're thinking of Shattered Glass, perhaps.
Yeah, that's
He was a journalist who was in trouble, who got in trouble for making up stories.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and he used to write for the New Republic magazine,
Right,
which is
but
the
check out
in-flight
Breach. I do
magazine.
believe Joseph Gordon might have been in that one. It's
Double
not
check.
important, really. Let me get on with my review, if I may. So First Kill is basically about a bank robbery gone wrong. Bruce Willis plays the sheriff of this small town.
He's not
and,
in it.
So we have a little bit of a standoff here. I don't want to ruin the surprise,
Yes.
but people get killed. The wrong people get killed by the wrong people.
Of
Or
course.
the right people get killed by the wrong people. And therefore, so now we have kind of a cat and mouse thing going across
Yes.
this hour and 37 minute landscape
Mm-hmm.
of cinema that breaches my brain for its own incompetence from time to time, because it isn't precisely that. I did enjoy little Hayden Christensen.
You did.
You know, I keep wanting to tell him, I am your father. But I can't, so I won't. But I like Bruce Willis in this. He seemed to go back to the channel of the Bruce that we used to know. You know, he wasn't... I did really love him in that, you know, Once Upon a Time in Venice thing.
Yes.
I liked that film a lot.
Yes.
I thought it was good. But I'm going into a little bit of a kind of a, you know, I'm going to like a Michael Caine now. I've switched gears a little, because I've always liked Michael. I hope he does more films.
You will.
I hope they do a Bucket List or, no, that
Going in Style 2.
Going in Style 2 and 3 and 4, with him and Morgan and that other little twerp.
Alan Arkin.
Harvey Kai Arkin. Yeah. So let's go back to First Kill. I have to say this about the film, that the...
It's really...
Just the same old shit.
It is just the same old
Pretty
shit.
much, right?
It really is. And I have to say that I wasn't so impressed with this film very much. It's nicely shot.
It didn't look that great.
It's very well lensed.
Yes.
I love to say that.
Well, these days, these movies usually, regardless of how good the script is, they usually look really good.
It really did look good.
Yeah.
You know, it had a professional photographer.
You mean
it had
DP?
A professional
Director of photography?
people,
Cinematographer?
Yeah, and professional people involved with the technical aspects of the film.
I hope so.
And for me, that is always a joy in its own.
Yeah.
I do like watching films just as much as I like hating them sometimes.
Understood.
If you know what I mean.
I do.
Sometimes I just like watching them, and I like putting the large soundscape across the
Yes.
volume of my incredible speakers, just so I can sit here and gaze at a beautiful scene and wonderful sound, but we know in our hearts that the movie sucks donkey balls.
Yes, it does.
So because of that aspect of our simple life here on planet Earth that we are faced with every film that we watch, we have to judge them accordingly. It makes sense that what they are to us. We are mere humanoids, in my case, lowly essence of humanoid. Can you hear me better now? I'm pulling on the turkey neck that is mine. I feel as though I can...
It's about the same.
I can get out now. I'm trying to get out. Anyway, I can't really recommend this film.
Okay, I gotta
It's
fix
really
your hood
rubbish.
because
It's
half
really
your face
garbage.
is missing.
Don't touch me!
That looks much better.
You little it. I mean shit.
You have a face only a spider could love.
Only a doorknob could love as
Yeah.
it slams into my face. But, you know, I can't really recommend this film. I found there were lots of holes, lots of gaps, lots of things that went completely and totally ineptly wrong and suspensefully inept. I found them that they were not coherent. There were times where you just want to yell at people, why don't you just tell the truth, you stupid schmuck?
Yeah.
Instead of making this movie go on an extra half hour. So
Well-
for that very reason, I have to give it a big thumbs down. So
Okay.
I'm going to say no!
No, huh?
First Kill, no!
Well, I appreciate you telling me about that, so I
Wait,
won't waste
one
my
thing.
time.
The guy who plays his little boy,
Yes.
there's a little boy involved. in
He's
this
good?
film. He's quite good.
Okay.
But one of the men who was actually shot, and he's shot by a particular sheriff, he gives a very heartwarming performance where he has to kind of takes the boy hostage, takes Hayden Christensen's son hostage. They have a wonderful little bonding time there. It lasts maybe 10 minutes. He shows the boy, he bonds more with the boy in that little short amount of time than Hayden Christensen has. And then, of course, there's the lesson to be learned that some schmucky guy is a better father to his son than he is.
Of course.
Hayden Christensen should have been shot, in my humble opinion. And I don't necessarily mean shot with a gun, maybe shot with drugs to wake him up. Okay, enough drug reference.
Okay, so
I don't
moving
want
on.
another R rating. I don't want another one.
Oh, too bad.
I don't want another R rating. No, we don't. All right, so let's move on.
So we're going to move on. I'm going to cover a film called Drone.
I have a feeling you're going to be droning on about this one.
Not really. Drone is a film that is currently available on Netflix. I want to point that out so you can watch it on Netflix. And it is a film about a drone pilot played by Sean Bean.
Sean Bean?
Sean Bean, the actor.
You mean Ned Stark?
He played Ned Stark on Game of
Oh, I
Thrones.
love Ned.
He's great. He's an actor who has been known to probably die in more films than just about any other actor.
I do believe you're right.
Yeah, I
Sean.
mean, this guy has a death reel. If you Google the Sean Bean death reel, although there's
Yeah,
spoilers there, he's died.
It
He's
would
died
go
in
on
so
for
many
quite a
films.
while.
Yeah.
It would
but,
not just be a mere montage.
no,
it
it
might
wouldn't.
be an entire film.
Exactly.
Of death clips.
So Drone is a film. He plays in the film he plays a drone pilot. He has a wife. He has a teenage son. And so the film pretty much right away we find out he's a drone pilot, and then the rest of the film.
Wait, I have to ask you a question.
Please do.
And here's my question. Do you remember that movie with Brittany Murphy that was with Michael Douglas? So many years
It's called
ago.
Don't Say a Word.
Precise. You know, I love that film.
Yes.
Was he in that?
I don't remember. It's a good movie.
Because there was
I saw that film once in the theater.
Oh, God, I love that film.
Yeah, it wasn't
If you
bad.
haven't seen it, please check it out. But little Brittany Murphy,
Yeah,
who's
don't
now
say
no
a word.
more,
Rest in peace.
she has gone into diabetic heaven, unfortunately.
I think so.
But,
But
you
back-
know, I do believe that the Ned Stark was in
He
that
was in
film.
that? I'll look it up
That might have been
later.
his first, but I'm sorry.
Anyway, so drone. Sean Bean is a drone pilot. He has a wife. His wife is played by Mary McCormick. He has a son, teenage son, who's kind of depressed and sad. We learn that they're grieving over the grandfather's death. So,
I see. But you say he's a drone pilot. Now, a drone is one of those things that floats
yeah,
in
drone
the air.
pilot meaning
He's
that
on the ground.
yeah, he's
Operating a drone in the sky.
well, yeah, he's operating a drone in Seattle, but the drone is in Pakistan.
Ah,
So he works for
those
this,
films.
works for the government.
I see.
And so,
Reminds me of the Ethan Hawke film.
yeah, well, that was called Good Kill.
I like that film.
Yeah, and then there was another one, I think it's Eagle in the Sky, with Helen Mirren and Alan
Eagle
Rickman,
in
which
the
was
sky.
excellent. So this is kind of the third film to feature a drone pilot as the main character. However, unlike those films, we spend only a few moments in the drone cockpit, whereas the other movies rely heavily on that as just a dramatic plot device.
I do like being in the cockpit longer
So
than that.
yeah, so this film is really about the drama of this family. We find out more and more about them as the story unfolds,
I see.
and we meet the other main supporting character, which is a Pakistani businessman who we learn has come to the States for particular reasons. I'm not going to give anything away, but he pays a visit to the family, and that's where the drama happens. And so I found this film to be very, very effective. I really enjoyed it. I liked it quite a bit.
Really?
Yeah, for me, I was sitting there really getting into it. At first, I didn't want to see it. I'm like, because I'm kind of tired of movies about drone pilots and the Afghanistan war and Iraq. But I said, you know what? I like Sean Bean. Let me give it a try. And so I really enjoyed it. He's very good in the film.
He's always very good.
There are some really
I think
good
he's a fine
scenes
actor.
in the home.
I've never seen him give a bad
No, I agree.
performance. He's always very
There's some good dinner table scenes that have a lot of tension.
You mean dinner tables that we could be sitting having dinner and watch this movie as it goes on?
I guess so. But the film takes place at a dinner table, the scene.
Oh, heavens!
But no, it's cool. It's some good tension in those scenes.
All
There's
right.
reasons why. I really don't want to get into too much, but I really recommend go on Netflix, check out
Really?
Drone. A big yes for Drone. I really enjoyed it.
Wow.
It's got a lot of good drama, and for that,
Who plays his wife in this film?
well, I said it before, Mary McCormick,
Oh, I love Mary.
who was most prominent in the Howard Stern movie. She played his
Absolutely.
wife, Private Parts.
That's correct.
But she was also on a show on USA where she played a U.S. Marshal.
Well, she's still on the show. She's
Is
on
that
many
she's
shows.
still on that show?
She's Chelsea Lately's best friend, by the way.
They're good friends. I know
Yeah.
that. Yeah. But anyway, I recommend it. It's a good film.
All right.
But why don't we move on? You're going to do
Let's
King
move on next.
King of the
I'm
Hill.
going to go on to a Steven Soderbergh film.
This is a '90s flashback to
This is a
1993.
film called
Yes.
King of the Hill.
King of the Hill.
And the reason that I specifically watched this, it is a Criterion film. I've mentioned them before to you all.
You have,
And,
or
I
you've heard
have
people
indeed.
mention it on the show.
No, I've mentioned.
This is your first
Criterion.
time on this show, my friend.
Oh, it is?
I think so.
No, then I must have had a little deja vu. I thought I was here before.
No,
Well, anyway, somebody
mistaken.
was here. Maybe I was living
Well,
vicariously through them.
you might have been. We've had many guest hosts on this show that love Criterion films, so you're in good company.
Oh, I want to be in good company so badly.
Yes.
So that makes me very happy then.
Well, I'm happy to lighten your day.
So let me talk about
Please
this
do.
wondrous film, and it stars a little boy, and he's basically the star. But most definitely, let me talk about this film for a moment.
And that's played by young Jesse Bradford,
Young
correct?
Jesse Bradford. He's wonderful in this movie. But this is a movie about children, and it is so. It almost brings me back to my own youth. So yes, I was a child once. It's hard to believe, isn't it?
I'd love to see what you were like.
That this beauty could have possibly been encased in a small childlike face. Oh, but look at me smile now. I'm smiling at you all. See how smiley I am? That's for the ladies. Thank you so much. Applause. Goodbye. All right, so let's get on with this film. This film is so sweet, so endearing. Once again, very much like The Big Sick, it has a tendency to take its time. It is so well appreciated. It takes place in the wondrous world of 1930s depression. And our young little Jesse, he's the son of a mother and a father. The mother is suffering
Really?
from consumption. Yes, indeed.
How does that happen?
He has parents. Well, unlike yourself, who your mother crawled onto a rock and you simply crawled out from
I
under
was
it.
hatched.
But, uh-oh.
What'd you do?
I don't know. Something's going wrong with
Did your
me.
battery die?
Something's going wrong with me battery.
You know, there's a
Hold
chance.
on.
You probably should be putting in fresh batteries once in a while.
You know, that's what she said
Unlike
to
your
me.
toys
That's what
at home.
I said to her, you know. That's the only way to make this thing work. But,
Too bad.
let me talk about King of the Hill. I love this film.
We must say, though-
I absolutely adore
Who
it.
directed this film? I think we know.
Oh, do tell. Do tell.
Steven Soderbergh.
Steven Soderbergh.
Yes.
It's a Steven Soderbergh film. You know, we all know Steven. He likes he likes something on the oceans, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He has a tendency to make the same film.
This
over
might have been
and over
his
and
first film
over
after his
and
big
over.
break, Sex, Lies, and Videotape.
Absolutely true.
Yeah.
I love that film.
Never saw
James Spader. Oh, it's
it.
wonderful.
I know, I never got a chance to
Oh
see
my
it.
God, it's a wonderful
I gotta
film.
check it
I
out.
kid you not.
I'll check it out.
James Spader and
Andy McDowell.
Andy McDowell
And a bunch of other people.
Beauteous.
Yes.
And incredibly, outrageously, she's just a vivid beauty in that
She
film.
is.
I really love that film a lot. It's really got a great sense of honesty to it.
Mm-hmm.
But this film, I believe, is probably the crowning achievement of Mr. Soderbergh. I don't
Okay.
think I've ever seen a film that really got into my soul as much as this.
He's a very talented filmmaker.
He's a very
And he's
talented filmmaker.
extremely
A lot of people
varied in
don't
his
like
films.
him. There
He's
are
all
some-
over the place with the genres he plays with.
He is indeed.
Which is really cool.
But I'll tell you something. His creative essence is completely on display here.
Yeah.
He has all the adults in the film are basically, I don't want to say evil, but they are monsters in their own right. Something is wrong with them. They are evil. They are not right for some reason. His father is a failure as a salesman. It's the death of a salesman syndrome all over again. His mother is being eaten by consumption, which of course is consumption was the other term for.
Yeah, I know the term.
yeah.
It's not.
Consumption was what you had when you had. You were being consumed by this horrifying disease, and it was then given a proper name. But
Yeah, I can't remember what it
now
was.
it's not important, I suppose. But anyway,
I'll
let's
look it
leave
up
it
for
at that. So she's confined to an asylum. His young brother is now taken off to live with Uncle Harry somewhere because the father can't afford. We're just talking quarters and dollars to pay for things. But this family is completely broke. So our young hero, little Jesse, is just struggling and doing what he can. Adrian Brody shows up in this movie. A very young Katherine Heigl is one of his girls in in his school class. And Karen Allen is the
yes.
wondrously warm teacher. I'll tell
And
you
the father
something.
is who? Isn't that Jérôme Crabert, correct? Is he play the
Yes,
father?
that is correct.
Cool. It's good to see
So you
him.
read well.
I do.
Because here, it's right on this little
Well, we
list.
looked it up.
Jerome Cobert.
And
Have
if you don't
seen
know
that,
him,
everyone?
He was in The Fugitive with Harrison Ford.
He was indeed.
Actually, the same year.
He's been in quite a few films.
He's
He has
great. He's a
tendency-
French actor.
He looks very much like Ray Wise to me.
A little bit.
Of the
little
David
bit.
Lynchian
Yeah.
drama Twin Peaks.
And he reminds me also a little bit of the French actor.
Louis Jourdan.
Yes, Louis
Hey,
Jourdan.
I got
I was
it right.
picturing Swamp
How did I
Thing,
do that?
and I was trying to go through my brain real quick of his name.
Thank God
Very
I'm here
good.
to help you.
Thank you, sir.
Well, very well. But I love this film. It basically is about youth and how we deal with things as youth and how some youth are more respectfully brilliant than other people. And this young boy in this film, this is just one of the greatest performances I've seen by a young person in my
Great.
life.
Wow. Okay.
I kid you not. I really adored this film. It's just a magnificent looking film. It captures the period. Everything has that brown tint to it that I really do like in that nostalgic world that it creates. There's evil everywhere, lurking wherever this boy goes, and somehow he manages to lie his way out of it, but in a very positive way. He just makes. There's the girl down the hall. I love this kind of a film. It reminds me a little bit of Rear Window, if you will,
Okay.
the Alfred Hitchcock film,
Yeah.
where Jimmy Stewart is staring out his window, and we have literally about 12 different plots that go on. In this film is also the same. We have
Okay.
different characters that all present different plot lines according to our young hero boy, who is now trying to just stay alive. as all the people in his life just have a tendency to fade away and radiate into oblivion in a very figurative and also spiritual way, but also in a physical way. So, therefore, this is a wonderful film. I cannot recommend it enough. I totally, wondrously enjoyed it. It takes the time to present a moment. And that's all we can do in this life, is present a moment. And watch a film that takes its time to present moments that matter, moments that mean something on a very minimal and yet outstanding basis. So therefore, I give King of the Hill a very large...
I can't wait to watch this film.
A very large...
It's one of those films I've always been aware of, and it's kind of escaped me. But now I'm going to make an effort to watch it. Thank you for
Now listen, I'd like to say that I'm also a part-time proctologist.
I know you are.
So my thumb not only registers as an upheaval into my positive review of positive films, but I also am renting it out for those in need of a prostate exam. So please accept my...
So that's what's under your finger now.
I know we're up to a mere 68 of you.
Wonderful.
But this thumb has seen things that none of you have.
None of us should see those things.
Let me say that to you.
So we're going to move on, if you're done.
Jump and double jump, Mr. King.
Okay. So we're going to move on now. I'm going to cover a film called The Interview. It's from 1998. And this film is also on Netflix. It's, I gotta say right away, a little gem that I happened to stumble on Netflix.
Did you say gem?
A gem. This film stars the wonderful Australian actor Hugo Weaving, who we've discussed fairly often on this show.
I'm weaving my hair right now.
You know Hugo, V for Vendetta. He was in the Lord of the Rings films.
He was in the Matrix.
Matrix, Mr. Smith. You know him. You love him. It also stars an actor named Tony Martin, another Australian actor.
Yeah.
And this film is a cat and mouse film. It is a film about a guy who right away, played by Hugo Weaving, is arrested and brought to a precinct to be interviewed by the police. Tony Martin is the lead investigator, interrogating him. The whole film pretty much is an ongoing interrogation of this man. And
really, the whole film?
About 98% of it.
But as he's describing the interrogation, do we go outside?
Well, no. That's the crux of the storyline of the film. We leave the interrogation room here and there. We go into the chief inspector's office. We go here, we go there. There's a couple flashbacks, but...
Wherever I go, Hugo.
Yes, Hugo. But the crux of the story, the meat, the bones, is the interview, the interrogation.
Okay.
And this film is riveting. It's
very well.
I could also say, to use your term, it takes its time to let the story... The story to unfold, to develop,
I love that.
Spin its yarn, as they say, you know.
Right.
And slowly we learn more about this story. It is a character study. It is a performance-driven film from the whole cast, but most importantly, Tony Martin and especially Hugo Weaving, who, in my humble opinion, I think this is the best performance I've seen from him yet.
Well,
and this man gives excellent performances all the time. Please check this film out. It is excellent.
What year was it made? 1998?
98. And it reminds me a lot, and I guess it's a fair comparison. It reminds me quite a bit of The Usual Suspects. In the way that the story is told, these two men talking. One guy is heavy. One guy is the intimidator. The other man is playing the victim, the guy that's being interviewed.
Good cop, bad cop.
Very much. It's just great. It's just a phenomenal film.
I shall watch it.
Yeah, it's
on Netflix.
So we can all
see it.
Good.
If you pay your $10 a month, you can all
enjoyed this film. Yeah.
If you don't pay your $10, you can't.
Well, you could probably buy it on Amazon on DVD if you want to. If you don't have Netflix, but you're better off just getting Netflix for $10 a month and watching all these things.
I so agree.
It's a great film. It's very well done.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, and I don't know. Let me think. It might be my favorite of the films I watched this week. Maybe.
Really?
It's very good. It's very well done, and I give it a huge, huge yes. I can't recommend it highly enough. It's just so good.
I have a three-way tie for films that I love this week.
Okay, let's move on.
I shall move on. So we're going to go on to the Pirates of the Caribbean.
You finally watched Pirates of the Caribbean.
I finally watched
number 5, which we've reviewed on this show before. Well,
you did.
Well, the Slumlord did. I wasn't here that week.
Yeah, that was a while
The
back.
Slumlord was a guest host. Memorial Day weekend. No, May.
Yes.
The fourth of the pirate film. The last
Okay.
one that came out, I think it was called On Stranger Tides.
There you go.
It
Correct.
came out 5 years ago. I detested that movie. I didn't care what was going on screen to the point that it turned me off to the franchise. But I gave number 5, the newest one, a chance, and I must say that I enjoyed it.
Did you?
It was a return to form for the franchise.
Very good.
I felt that it was very entertaining.
I like this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I remember
not expect
I saw
to
it
like
myself, and the slumlord said we both liked it.
I've got to tell you, I thought it
An
was
improvement from the
entertaining.
last one.
You know, Johnny Depp, he's playing the same old shtick over and over and over. I did like a little cameo there by Mr. Paul McCartney. He shows up for a very brief moment.
Yeah,
Goes
it was
for
more
about 40
distracting than
seconds.
anything, though.
I liked him though. It was fun to see
It
Paul.
was okay.
Because I kind of forgot he was in it until the last
Me
minute.
too.
And then I said, oh, there he is.
I'll
But
be
he's
honest,
talking
I
in
didn't
his
recognize it
Paul
was him right away.
You know, he's talking in his Paul voice, which is kind of up here. You know, hey Jude, don't make it bad. You know, so I liked that. I thought the whole film was really rather ravaging, though. I liked Javier Bardem. I thought he was
pretty good.
wondrous as kind of the half-faced creature. This is a CGI film, completely.
All the way.
I loved our little girl in the movie.
She was very good.
She was very sweet.
Yes.
She had that Keira Knightley kind of
She did.
cuteness to her. And she had a ravaging bosom.
She did.
And wonderful cleavage, if I might point out. And our little star boy was also
He wasn't
very
bad
good.
either.
Everybody was good at this.
Well
movie.
done.
It kind of was very entertaining. It moved along. I know at not one particular point did I want to hang myself.
Yeah.
Or did I want to slit my wrist or perform some other act of ending my creation
Yes.
upon watching the usual drivel that I have in the past 2 episodes
I
of this
know.
horrifying...
Well, I'm going to
this
say that I
horrifying
liked
series
the
of
first.
Caribbean trash.
I liked the first 3. I hated the 4th one.
Oh, brother.
This was an improvement on the 4th. Very well done.
I like the first only, my friend.
But I'll say
the
that I'm-
second one was just kind of a vague imitation. Then the third and the fourth one, oh my God, please.
I like the 3rd one a lot.
Just put them in the wake of Hurricane Harvey and let them be blown all over.
I will say that I don't think I need any more of these films after the 5th one.
You know, I think they ended it.
I
think
hope so.
The ending of this particular film,
Yeah.
I thought it all kind of
It
came
is.
together.
Let's not
I
give anything
liked it.
away, but it had a nice ending.
Yes, it did. It really kind of...
It ties things together.
encapsulates.
Yeah.
It brings together and it... Vogue! That's my
It
Madonna
could be a
impression.
very good
Vogue!
franchise ender
Vogue!
if they choose to not continue.
Vogue!
We get the idea.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Oh, very well. You didn't say anything. I kept going.
Well, I was hoping you were going to stop.
Well, I was hoping you were going to say something.
I did say
well,
something.
you didn't, but now you have. So
Who's
I
on
can stop.
first?
All right, very well. So this was I'm going to give this a thumbs up.
Okay.
I
No,
found it entertaining.
I gave it a yes. I did.
I didn't
So 2
really
yeses.
fall
Yeah.
asleep. I think I did fall asleep, but I rewound and I went back
Good.
to the part that I had missed and I watched it, and it was quite entertaining. I
Good.
must say, it was very well done. Special effects all over the place. This
Oh
is
yeah.
a
The
CGI
movie is
movie.
CGI Central. Yeah.
Thumbs up. Let's go on.
Okay, so I'm gonna do another flashback. I'm gonna do an '80s flashback to 1986. The Name of the
Do you
Rose.
like my hair? Call in if you like my hair.
Or email us filmbanter@gmail.com.
No, if you like my hair, call in, please.
I don't expect any emails about your hair.
Somebody call in and just say, oh, I
So-
like this hair.
I'm gonna move on.
Please do.
Like I said, The Name of the Rose is an 1986 film starring Sean Connery, F. Murray Abraham, and Christian Slater, and Ron Perlman, who
Ah, yes.
I gotta say gives quite a performance in this film as a
You know,
deformed
Ron's never
hunchback.
given a bad performance.
He's wonderful in this film.
He's fantastic. Basically, they did the same
You know,
performance.
he speaks like 7 languages in this film. All the dialogue is in his character is a mixture of 7 different languages
Yeah, I'm not
interwoven
surprised.
that he himself brought into the character.
Oh, heavens.
Very interesting. He does a great job. This is a film that I will say is probably not something that everybody would want to see, but it's great. It's a
No,
mystery.
I disagree there.
Well,
I think
it's a little
anybody
niche.
of a-
Some people might not be wanting to see this.
It is a mystery, first and foremost.
It takes place in
With
a...
Sean Connery playing
Yes,
the
he just-
monk-like Sherlock Holmes.
He's basically a monk
wonderful.
Sherlock Holmes. Yeah,
Yes.
he's a Franciscan monk who,
Correct.
along with his
He's
apprentice,
been brought in
his apprentice,
to
played by
handle a
Christian
variety
Slater,
of the monks who are being murdered and slaughtered
yes,
off.
at an abbey in the mountains of Italy.
Yeah.
And so it's a murder mystery that slowly unravels as more and more people within this monastery, so to speak,
Yeah.
are being killed off in pretty violent, horrific ways.
It's horrifying.
It's dark film. There's a lot of candlelight and
yeah.
flames.
Look, I have a mustache.
You do. Not as good as mine. You can tell that a lot of the set was cold. They were filming in cold locations because you see the breath.
Is that a real mustache?
It is. Don't pull it. Yeah, no, this was a very well done film directed
really
by
quite.
Jean-Jacques Annaud, a prominent French filmmaker.
Yes, indeed.
The
it was
production-
from a novel.
Yes,
It was
based on a
originally
famous
very
novel.
thick novel.
Yes. This is a beautiful looking film. The production design is astounding. The
It's quite
costumes
nice.
are great.
It's quite nice.
It's peppered with a lot of character actors. I was very happy to see the now deceased William Hickey in this film.
William Hickey.
He's a famous actor who was mostly gained a lot of prominence late in life. Old guy, he talks in a voice like this. You've seen him. He was in One Crazy Summer. He was in My Blue Heaven.
Okay.
He's been in a lot of films. I liked him a lot.
I too love this film.
It's a very good film.
It's very well done.
F. Murray Abraham comes in at the end of the film.
I think it's a little lengthy.
It's a little long, but the way he
little
came
long.
into the film, it reminded me of the structure of the famous Eugene O'Neill play, The Iceman Cometh. He
there
kind
you go.
of, we're referencing this character throughout the film, then he finally arrives.
Yeah, but it's not such a big deal.
No,
The
it's not. But
Iceman.
he's spoken of with grandeur by a
Yes.
couple of the characters. He comes and he's an inquisitor and he's an adversary of Sean Connery who's trying to unravel this mystery. It's very well done. I've wanted to see this film for years. I'm very happy I watched it.
It's all told in
two big
retrospect.
yeses.
It's all told in retrospect from the Christian Slater, who was a small boy.
We
And
hear
it's
his narration,
told-
yes.
It's told by him
As
as
an
old
adult.
man.
But we
As
don't
he
see
goes
him as
back-
an adult.
Well, we do not, but
No.
we hear his voice.
Yes.
Kind of narrating from the
Yes,
beginning
I
and then,
agree.
of course, at the end.
Very well done.
This is a film that basically, as I think, centralizes around the performance of Mr. Connery.
He's
I think
the
Sean
movie.
Connery, who
Yes.
is just such a completely charismatic man.
He's
I'm
great.
sure he is now, as he's sitting. You know, he's in the Saint Martin, I believe. I hope he wasn't
is he?
ravaged horribly. Yes.
Well, he's got homes all over the place.
He does, but he's basically living and gardening his little garden down in, I believe, the Saint Martin.
Well,
area.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything.
I do hope he wasn't
I'm sure.
ravaged.
Well, if he's
currently
dead,
by
if he
our
died,
storm.
we would have heard.
I
Honestly,
suppose we would.
that would have been top news.
I think it might have been.
Sean Connery perishes in
Getting
St.
up
Martin.
there.
Would have been bigger news than St. Martin getting hit by the hurricane in
You know,
general.
I saw a photo of Sean, and he was caught in the
87.
light of a. Pardon me.
He's 87.
He's getting up there, but he was caught in the light of a photographer. He looked so gaunt, so thin,
Yeah.
so near death, that I think when he saw the photographer's bulb, he might have thought that was the light that
Go
he
toward
was
the light?
supposed to walk
Yeah.
into to die.
I think you're right.
And I was so sorry to see Mr. Connery, who I've beloved for all these many, many years. He's just
Yeah.
one of our finer actors, but he's also one of our most beautiful looking men that ever came down the pike.
Hmm.
He was the best James Bond. From then on, he gave a series of uneven performances, if I may say. But at
You
the
mean
same
his
time,
career as a whole or as James Bond?
proved him. No, not as James Bond. He was always.
Oh,
magn-
okay.
he was
So you're saying in
magnificent
a
as
career
Bond.
as Ben.
I'm saying in his career, he gave many uneven performances.
Well, you know, touching on that point, I was reading a lot of the trivia on this film, and I didn't know this. I didn't realize that they were saying leading up into this film in the mid 80s, his career was in such a bad place that the studio actually didn't want him in the movie at all.
I'm not
And
surprised.
Jean-Jacques Annaud had to fight to get him in the movie.
Yeah, well, he did win his Oscar.
Well,
though,
he
in
did
the
after in
80s.
'87 with The Untouchables,
Right.
and then his career took off again.
Yes,
and then he stayed on top for the most part.
But you know, I agree with you though. But he's quite.
He's
quite
very good in
eloquent,
this
he's
film.
wondrous,
He's
He's
great.
always a joy to watch.
I
and
love him.
behold. Christian Slater, I think, is wonderfully cast.
He was 15 in this film.
I know, and he's very, very
You
good.
know what's shocking? I heard he was 15 when we did this film. He does a full frontal nudity scene. He does full frontal nudity in this film at 15.
Oh, well,
It's
God
from
bless him.
afar, but I'm surprised they got away with that, to be
Well,
honest
you
with
know,
you.
I suppose
With
that's
labor
probably
laws
true.
like that back then?
Yeah,
Anyway.
it did have a.
Um,
there was a certain. I can't quite explain it, but there was a certain essence to this particular film that did not always, you know, because of the Italian roots of our director, writer, etc. Umberto. His name escapes me, but Umberto something was the writer of this. I think
Yeah.
the Italian essence of it, it kind of reminded me just a notch because of its crudeness and rudeness.
It was a dark film, yeah.
It was a very dark film, but Piero Pasolini, if
Yes.
you have never seen any of his films, they're always very, very basic
Yeah.
into human life and death. Death is just another aspect
Yeah.
of life in these in the European world to some extent. You know, we don't put it on such a pedestal as we do here, and I suppose that's why most terrorists are from other countries, is because their appreciation of life is so dismally low. But
Yeah.
I'm sure that you love. We should be moving. Our time is getting late.
Yeah, well, anyway, 2 big yeses for the name
Two
of the
big
rose. For
yeses.
the name of the rose, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Why don't we move on? You're going to do a
Wondrous
film called Band-Aid?
I am going to do a film starring the illustrious Zoe
It's here. Zoe Lister-Jones,
Zoe
a
Lister-Jones.
prominent
yes.
TV actress right now.
She is indeed. She's on that show called.
Oh, yeah, we just talked about
We
it
just
earlier.
talked about it. It's a show with Colin Hanks, Tom
Yes.
Thun, and James Brolin.
Yes.
And it's on ABC or CBS.
I'll look it up.
I believe it's CBS. She's a CBS girl.
CBS?
But Zoe Lister-Jones has made a film called Band-Aid. And I have to say, you're going to be hearing a lot about this film.
She's the writer-director, right?
She's the writer, producer, director of this film. She did it all. She's Orson Welles deluxe. She has made a film that is so deeply personal. It's about basically, oh look, we're only at 58 minutes there, so we're doing fine.
Not bad.
But it's a deeply personal movie about a woman and her husband who fight.
Life in Pieces is the show. Sorry to interrupt. Life in Pieces
Yes.
is the show she's on.
Yes, it's on Tuesdays or Wednesdays on your basic local channel.
Might be on right now.
It is probably very well. No, I don't think it's on Monday nights, but
Today's
it's on
Tuesday.
some weekday night, and she always plays kind of a raunchy little, kind of a loudmouth, but very sharp, and she goes right for the zingers every time when she attacks everybody. She's a very, very great little actress, actually. I'm afraid she's going to be stereotyped for the rest of her being, but
Well, not necessarily.
well, not necessarily.
She'd have to
it's
fight
good.
to do that.
And
to get away
she's
from
made a
that.
film here called Band-Aid, and she basically decides with her husband that they're fighting all the time.
Yes.
She doesn't want to fight. So they begin to start singing to each other, and then they realize, why don't we start a band? So they do. They start a band. Well, who comes up, walking up to the house one day? The very weird and ominously strange Fred Armisen.
Yes.
And so Fred then enlists as the drummer. So we now have, who should have known that little Zoe Lister-Jones was a fine little bass player, which she is, Hey Jude. She plays a little Rickenbacker. No, it's not a Rickenbacker. I believe it's a Fender bass, actually. And her husband's pretty good on guitar. And so they start this band, and they begin to fall in love again. And I don't want to go into too much because the ending kind of takes us into such a, not the ending, but there are parts of this film that go so dark and so hurtful and so to the lowly point of human hate that it's disturbing to watch, I must say. But at the same time, the joy in this film and the uniqueness and the brilliant writing that just so dearly takes its time to just lay a line down, just to let the thought resonate, just to let the whole beauty of the dialogue, of which is really so wonderfully written, just kind of sit in space for a while as you contemplate and as you breathe it all in, which I'm having very great difficulty doing, being this in ridiculous mask for this entire hour. But I'm not even going to go there.
Well, it's the agony and ecstasy
It is
that
indeed.
comes
I
with
give a large
creation
proctology, skywise,
for this
not
film.
penny-wise, but skywise, to the very essence of this film.
I'm happy to hear it. It sounds
very,
good.
very much. She's a beautiful little girl too. There's a love scene in this movie that's just very well. The dialogue, the realness of these characters is breathtaking.
It's great.
I don't see
It's
it
refreshing
very
to hear
often.
that.
It's very nice.
Yes. We've covered
But
some good stuff this week.
I
It's
do
great.
want to say that this, Band-Aid, King of the Hill, and The Big Sick were all three films that I just loved and adored. I
That's great.
truly did. This was a very special week and a wonderful week to behold for my
That's nice.
humble, skeletal, clown-faced soul. So with that, I'm going to say that that's probably about all I can say.
Well, you know what? You said just enough. That's wonderful. I'm happy to hear it.
Well, that's what happens when you breathe in your own carbon monoxide
Ah,
for the
that's
last
true.
hour.
Yeah.
You begin to go off in a tangent, and a little headache starts
And you
to
get a little
arise
melancholy,
within
and
the
you get a little
split soul of
whimsical
your cranium.
and
Suddenly
nostalgic.
you don't know what you're talking about anymore.
Well,
But there you
if
go.
that's the case, we'll just end it. We'll stop
I
talking.
suppose we can just...
We appreciate you watching. We've had a great time tonight. We're going to be back next week. We will have some more films. I think we're going to be covering Mother, the big film that opens this weekend. Darren Aronofsky's new film with Jennifer Lawrence. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
A couple other things. Yes, Mother. Exactly.
Your mother.
But yes, as always, check us out on YouTube. You're missing out if you're not watching this show on YouTube. I'm telling you, check it out. filmbanter@gmail.com. Get in touch. Like the Facebook page. We have a Twitter page now. We're going to start posting soon. Daryl's going to be in charge of that. Just Film Banter on Twitter. And we'll catch you guys soon. Have a great week, everybody. Be safe. So you going to wave? I'll wave too.